So we got a customer's truck. We are going to be doing a 6-inch rough country lift with 35s. 4-wheel drive. Truck's super clean, so we're going to pull everything down to the garage and get this thing up in the air, and we're going to start knocking out the front end, I think, first, right?
Yeah, gotta move the big old diesel out of the way.
Diesel. Stupid gas trucks. No, I was kidding. And then, so we're going to do this lift. We're going to start it. I guess we're going to start in the front because it's the worst, because we got to cut a few things off. We got to take some measurements first, so maybe we'll walk you through step by step kind of in this one.
Back's easy, it's blocking the back.
Yeah. So we're going to move it all down there, get these tires unloaded, and then we'll start cracking on it, so. Alright, we got our torsion bar removal tool. We got it up underneath there. First thing we're doing is we're going to pull the tension off the torsion bar, then drop those down, and then we're going to go ahead and start tearing the caliper and rotor off. So, suck a dig. Alright, so we unloaded the torsion bars, got the keys out, and they're underneath there. We're going to pull them out and then start tearing apart the front caliper, rotor, yada yada yada. Alright, so we went ahead, disconnect the ABS lines first, then we're going to go ahead and remove the caliper and rotor so we get to the CV. We did both the keys, like the unloading of them on both sides, so we went ahead and we got out the preload tensioner bolt, which is right here. It's just a 19mm socket. Definitely get the tool, don't do a C-clamp, it's not worth it. We went ahead and removed the ABS lines. Now we're going to go ahead and remove the calipers, put it on a generator jack stand, and then we're going to go ahead and drop the rotor, caliper, ball joints, and remove this whole knuckle so we can start swapping everything over to the knuckle. And we'll probably just flip it and repeat it on the other side, but pretty much to show you in detail on this side. So move on to that step and we'll show you when we got everything removed. Alright, so we had a slight mishap where, not mishap, brake brackets are stuck. Torch it is. So we're going to heat it up, watch the rubber boot, bust it loose. We got the first one to come loose already. Sometimes you just got to do different things. Sometimes they get stuck. Probably have to do it on all the sides. But it came loose. It's not a northern truck, but sometimes it's what you got to do. See if this one comes loose now. Yep, just like butter. So now both are loose. We're going to remove both these bolts, remove the bracket and the rotor and the front cap, and then we'll be ready to remove the ball joints and knuckle. You wouldn't be able to bring the... We moved the CV axle nuts in the front. Now we're going to move the front tie rod nuts, bump that knuckle, and then we're going to go ahead and start removing the upper and lower ball joints. Alright, so lower ball joints disconnected. We're going to take 18 mil and disconnect the upper, and then pull that knuckle out of the way, and then we're going to move the hub, dust cover, and all that stuff over to the new knuckle, disconnect the shock, upper and lower, and then we should be ready to go ahead, put that knuckle on, and then we got to go ahead and start figuring out the cross member, cutting stuff, moving on. So we're going to do that now. Alright, knuckles out. Time to do the other side. Okay, so we went ahead and we got both of our struts removed on both sides. Now we're gonna get a 19mm wrench and a 24mm socket, and we're gonna remove the lower control arm, and then we're gonna take out the CV axle, and then we're ready to start working on the cross member, torsion bar, and cut some of that stuff out so we can go ahead and start bolting on our new stuff. We're soaking our knuckles right now because the bolts are stuck, and then we're gonna go ahead and bolt everything back up. Then we should be ready to put the keys in shortly, and then pretty much done. I mean, we've only been at it for about 5 hours, so if that.
The control arm pocket.
Alright, so we got the knuckle off. Everything's disconnected.
Well, you're getting blown up.
Now we're going to go ahead and cut off this bracket right here. And then we have our front diff supported before we go ahead and start removing the whole diff to go ahead and grind that bracket down. So we're going to go ahead and take our sawzall, cut off that bracket right there, and keep going. And after long cussing and fun, the front diff's down. We have the bracket cut, so we're gonna cut the bracket off the diff, and then start putting everything back together.
Oh no, it is big enough.
All right, so we have the rear cross member installed. We're installing the differential brackets right now, and then we're gonna go ahead and put up the front cross member, and then go ahead and put the front diff back up in there, and then we're gonna start working on our torsion bars, putting the whole front and knuckles back on and everything like that. So we made it pretty far. We only been at about 5 hours, so not too bad. So got metal shavings and a mess everywhere though.
All the way through?
No.
Oh.
No, not at all. We have the diff in. Ow.
Thank Jesus
that
God,
sucked
after I
ass.
blew out my shoulder.
Alright, so it's the next day, and we ended up getting stuck on putting the differential back up. We didn't grind down the side of the differential enough, so we kept running into the side when we tried to move the diff over to try to line the bolt holes up on the front cross member. So we have to pull the front diff back down, grind that down some more, and then we're going to go ahead and put that front cross member up. Then we can put the CV axles on. We're going to do upper ball joints on this thing while we're at it, and tie rod ends. The customer gave us those too. And then we also have to do brake pads, rotors, and then bolt the knuckles back up. And then we have to run the torsion bars, and we should be good in the front, and then we got to drop the back, do rotors, brakes, and then put the blocks on. So hopefully 2.5 hours. And yeah, so we're going to get started on that so we can start working on the other stuff, and that should be it for this one. So let's start doing that. Alright, so we have the upper cross member in now. All the bolts are tightened and with Loctite. Now we got the lower control arms just sitting there with all the bolts through it. What I'm gonna do, Blake's running to get a ball joint press. We're gonna pull the ball joints, but right now I'm gonna swap the outer tie rods, and use my 2 crescent wrenches, pull that off, install the new ones, and then all we have to do is set the knuckle up in there and start bolting things up. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tie rods and keep going. Alright, so got the tie rods on, and now still waiting on Blake to get the ball joint pressed before we put the knuckles up, but I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes for the torsion bar drop brackets, so I'm going to go ahead and mark those and tap and then drill those. So, alright, the lower torsion bar brackets are in. I had to drill 2 holes with 17/32 drill bit. I didn't have a 17/32, so I just drilled it with a 1/2 inch and kind of beveled, so it worked out perfectly. Those are bolted up and Loctited down. All I have to do in the front end is press these ball joints out and then hook the knuckles up, and I'm ready to just bolt everything back up, sway bar length, stuff like that, and then we're ready to just go to the back, drop it, put the shackle and blocks in, and new shocks. So almost about an hour away. It took a little bit longer today than I wanted it to, but it's super simple, something to attempt. I think yesterday we had 5 hours in it. We started about 11:30, 12, and around 5 before work. 5 hours, not even, probably, because we spent an hour getting it ready and looking over the truck, so not too bad at all. Considering we had to torch a lot of the bolts out and PB blast them, so nothing too crazy. But we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna press in these brake calipers and just go ahead and get everything ready to put in and go from there. So it's 10:40. Driver's side's done. Actually, that's a lie. I still had to do the torsion bar. The ball joints were a mother. I had to heat them up, slam them out. Took forever. But I got them in. Got the other side in. So just got to button up the other side like this, which that took me an hour. And do the torsion bars. The rear end hopefully won't take long, so tomorrow for sure it will be finished. But worth it. So see you tomorrow. I am dead. Good night. Alright, so we're starting today. We're going to finish up torsion bar and then go to the other side and go ahead and button up that knuckle and everything. So, fuck this truck. Alright, we are buttoning up the whole left side. We just have to put the top of the shock in, and then we got to put the sway bar link on, and then we're putting the shocks in, drop the front on the ground, and do the rear. So we'll show you the final result. It's been a pain in the ass, but definitely worth it. What do you say, Blake?
I was saying I was getting choked by bugs.
It's hot in Georgia. Alright, so the front tires are on. We're going to let it down slowly, hopefully, Blake.
Oh, we're jacked up. We don't even like them. Oh my god, this is really tough.
Let it slowly. Damn! Now we gotta do the rear.